What if I told you that the greatest battle in classical music was never fought with swords or words, but with notes and silence? In the world of orchestras and grand concert halls, two names rise above all others: Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Ludwig van Beethoven. One, the embodiment of elegance and effortless genius; the other, a force of will who transformed suffering into sound. Their legacies are woven into the very fabric of Western music, but who among them truly stands as the greatest genius of classical music? Step back to the ornate salons of 18th century Vienna. Picture velvet-draped rooms flickering with candlelight, where aristocrats and royals gathered for music that elevated the soul. Here, a boy wondered at the keys of the harpsichord, his fingers dancing faster than most could follow. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was a prodigy, composing symphonies at an age when most children still played with toys. His music flowed as if from some divine source, enchanting audiences with its clarity, balance, and charm. Whether penning lively operas or delicate chamber pieces, Mozart's touch seemed effortless, each note precisely where it belonged. But as Mozart's star burned bright and fast, another story was beginning. Decades later, as the shadows lengthened over Vienna, a young man arrived with wild hair and restless ambition. Ludwig van Beethoven was not born into comfort or ease. His life would be a constant struggle against adversity, poverty, family turmoil, and most cruelly, the slow loss of his hearing. Yet, from these trials, Beethoven forged music that was more than entertainment. It was a testament to the indomitable human spirit. Where Mozart's compositions delighted and soothed, Beethoven's thundered and roared, shaking the very rafters of European music. Mozart's output in his short life was nothing less than staggering. Over 600 works in just 35 years. Symphonies, operas, concertos, chamber music, sonatas. He mastered every genre of his time, and his melodies, like those of Eine kleine Nachtmusik, remain instantly recognizable even centuries later. His music is transparent, crystalline, and perfectly proportioned. But beneath the surface lies a complex architecture, intricate harmonies, subtle counterpoint, and mathematical precision. Mozart's genius lies in making the complex sound simple, the difficult seem effortless. Beethoven, on the other hand, was a revolutionary. He broke the rules, expanded the boundaries of form, and infused his compositions with unprecedented emotion. His Fifth Symphony opens not with an elegant theme, but with a declaration, 4 notes that resound like fate knocking at the door. Beethoven's music is dense, often stormy, and always passionate. He was not content to entertain. He sought to move, to challenge, even to provoke his audiences. Through his struggles, especially as he lost his hearing, Beethoven's music became a kind of personal manifesto, a defiant statement that art could transcend suffering. Critics and historians have long debated the source of Mozart's genius. Was it innate, a gift from the gods? Or was it the result of relentless practice, driven by a demanding father who recognized his son's talent early? For Beethoven, genius was forged in adversity. He battled not only external hardships, but also the internal torment of deafness, a cruel fate for a musician. Yet, even as silence closed in around him, Beethoven composed some of his greatest works, including the Ninth Symphony, whose Ode to Joy remains an anthem of hope and unity. Listen to Mozart's Piano Concerto No. 21, and you'll hear serenity itself. A graceful dance of melody and harmony, every note perfectly placed. Now listen to Beethoven's Symphony No. 9, where harmonies clash and resolve like thunder and lightning. Where Mozart's music glides, Beethoven's wrestles. Where Mozart whispers, Beethoven shouts. Mozart wrote for the courts and salons of Europe, but Beethoven wrote for all of humanity. His music is universal, meant to be felt as much as heard. Emotionally, Mozart's music is a mirror of life's beauty, a celebration of grace, wit, and light. His Requiem, though unfinished, whispers of mortality and transcendence. Beethoven's music, by contrast, pulls listeners into the depths before lifting them to triumphant heights. The Ninth Symphony's Ode to Joy is not just a choral finale. It is a vision of brotherhood, a cry for freedom and joy in the face of adversity. Historically, Mozart represents the pinnacle of the classical era, a time of balance, symmetry, and refinement. Beethoven shattered these conventions, paving the way for the Romantic era. Without Beethoven's rebellion, music might have remained confined to the gilded chambers of the elite, never venturing into the stormy, passionate world of the human heart. Their creative processes were as different as their personalities. Mozart could improvise entire sonatas on the spot, his mind and fingers moving as one. Beethoven, by contrast, was a painstaking craftsman, laboring over each phrase, revising, rewriting, refusing to settle for anything less than perfection. Two paths to genius, one spontaneous, the other sculpted by fire. Consider their masterpieces. Mozart's The Magic Flute, a fairy tale that dances with joy and mystery. Beethoven's Fidelio, an opera that screams for justice and freedom. Mozart's music entertained emperors and royalty, bringing laughter and delight. Beethoven's music inspired revolutions, stirring hearts to action. Yet both men knew tragedy. Mozart died young, penniless, and largely forgotten, buried in a mass grave. Beethoven, isolated by deafness, conducted his Ninth Symphony without hearing a note, relying on the orchestra to cue him to the end. Genius, it seems, is not immune to suffering. Technically, Mozart's music is a model of clarity. Each note serves a purpose. Nothing is wasted, nothing excessive. Beethoven's works are dense, layered, demanding for both performers and listeners. Where Mozart invites you in, Beethoven challenges you to keep up. So which moves us more? Mozart's flawless elegance or Beethoven's turbulent passion? In music education, Mozart often serves as the foundation. Students learn his scales, his forms, his balanced phrasing. Beethoven, however, teaches expression, the power of silence, the weight of dissonance, the courage to break the rules. Mozart's world was one of powdered wigs, candlelit banquets, and royal patronage. Beethoven dragged classical music into the modern age, his fists clenched, his soul bared, his music echoing the struggles of ordinary people. When we consider influence, Beethoven's shadow looms large. Composers like Brahms, Schubert, and even the creators of modern film scores draw from his dramatic innovations. Yet the melodic purity of Mozart's music remains unmatched, a benchmark of beauty and grace. Imagine Mozart in today's digital age, his effortless brilliance going viral, captivating millions with a single melody. Beethoven, perhaps, would be the tortured genius, crafting anthems that electrify global audiences, his passion undiminished by time or technology. Mozart is the painter of perfect sunrises, a world bathed in light, hope, and possibility. Beethoven is the storm that reshapes the landscape, raw, powerful, leaving the world forever changed. But perhaps the real question isn't who was greater, but who speaks more deeply to your soul. For some, music is an escape, Mozart's world of grace and light, a refuge from life's storms. For others, music is a confrontation, Beethoven's struggle against silence, a call to face adversity head-on. In the end, comparing these two giants is not about technical mastery or historical influence, but about the stories their music tells within us. Each note, each phrase, carries a piece of their lives, the joy, the pain, the genius. So, who is the true genius? The boy from Salzburg, who composed as easily as breathing, or the deaf revolutionary who battled fate itself to give us his greatest works? Perhaps both shaped the world of music in ways no one else could. Their music endures, not because they were flawless, but because they were human, brilliant, passionate, and, above all, unforgettable. Which maestro captures your soul? Mozart's celestial melodies or Beethoven's thundering passion? The choice is yours, and perhaps, in the end, there is no wrong answer. Their music lives on, inviting each new generation to listen, to feel, and to decide for themselves. Tell us in the comments, which maestro captures your soul? Mozart's celestial melodies or Beethoven's thundering passion? Subscribe to the Curious Order for more legendary duels in the history of genius.